Today on CC Unfiltered, we're going to talk about our biggest challenge, which is reaching men over 50. Welcome, Tamsin, to CC Unfiltered. Before we get into it, we'd love to know what's harder to find, a good man or a spot at a parking lot at a busy centre?
That's a good question. I think they both could be just as hard as each other sometimes.
Are you happily single, or would you love to find somebody special to share your life with?
I am very happy being single. Okay. I am. I think everybody always misses that someone special in their life. The girls and the girlfriends can only do so much when it comes to friendships. So there's always that male companion that's missing in one's life, even though you are, securely happy as a single person.
How are you finding the dating scene these days?
Well, to be honest, I've actually tried a lot of these online dating sites, and I can honestly tell you that that's the worst thing for anybody to actually go onto. Yeah. Personally, I feel that it leads to quite an unhealthy viewpoint on dating. I think it's taken away that, one-on-one FaceTime that you really need to get to know a person. And I think you start basing the person based on how they look, what the hobbies say, and then you get to meet the person often on these dating sites, and they're totally opposite to what has been mentioned on them.
And that is kind of always the case. It's you never meet the person that you've seen on a profile. It's always different. Whether you're pleasantly surprised, sometimes, let's be honest, guys, cannot always take the best pictures, guys. Yeah. So sometimes you're pleasantly surprised, sometimes you're like, oh, who have I been chatting to for the last 2 weeks? That's the struggle these days, is like you prejudge off like a profile, and rather than just organically meeting somebody in person and making your own judgments in person.
People have forgotten how to communicate with one another. It's a big problem.
Yeah, and I think also it's so easy to maybe look at a picture and then you've got your maybe 5 or 4 people lined up, and you maybe go and you meet that person, and perhaps that person's a bit short or shorter than what you'd wanted, or maybe she's blonde and you wanted a brunette, for example, on the male side. Yes. And you think, okay, fine, well, I've got the next person lined up I can meet tomorrow. So I think instead of trying to, focus on that particular person and spending more time interacting,
getting to know them,
yes, you start to cut it and say, okay, well, there's maybe just somebody better out there.
Yeah, 100%. That's very important. It's something we addressed earlier, is how everyone is thinking there's something better, and that kind of prevents you.
The way it should be.
Yeah. Let's address the elephant in the room. Where are all the men over 50? Are they wanting to date younger women? Are they really set in their ways, stubborn, don't want to put yourself out there? Are they on the dating apps? Is there a misconception that women over 50 are past their dating prime? What is the issue here?
I think there are lots of wonderful, decent 50-year-old men out there. It's quite a tough question, I think, because when you look at a woman who's 50 years of age and she's also looking to date and find, a man similar of age. I think a lot of men are intimidated by the 50-year-old woman, because a lot of them are quite secure in their work. They're financially being able to pay for themselves and deal with the kids and the family. They've got a really good friend circle. So often I think they maybe feel a bit, now, where do I fit in? Whereas with maybe a 30-year-old woman, she's younger, she
can slot in.
Yes, yeah. So I think maybe they feel a bit intimidated, like, where would I fit in? Like, how would I be able to win this lady over, for example? And I think there are a lot of good qualities that a man often doesn't remember they have. Maybe they're also afraid sometimes, they're afraid to, take that step and leap. Perhaps they're looking on the wrong platforms, because I think people have hidden behind online space.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think a lot of people have lost that courage to actually go and meet somebody face to face.
And actually just show up.
So I think it's probably to say, don't be afraid, take that step and actually ditch those dating online apps and rather try and meet somebody face to face.
Yeah, as it should be, and how it was in the old days, and we didn't struggle with dating then. Now everyone's struggling. It's so easy to access people. Everyone's on the dating apps chatting to like multiple people at a time, where it never used to be like that.
I think often when we get to 50, people think, oh my gosh, I'm old, for example, but I think age is just a number, and it depends on the individual. Try and lose those insecurities and try and take a leap of faith and actually just see where it goes in the real face-to-face
and
world.
Don't let the age 50 scare them away, because you guys are still fit and young up here and active and can still do things. I've heard a lot of men say like, oh, they think kind of women are on the shelf after 50, and it's just so not true.
They feel the same. The women feel the same. Some women want younger guys.
You guys don't want like a couch potato. You also want someone that's like fit and active and can get out there and do things. So
well, I always say you can get a very old 30-year-old and you can get a very active fit 60-year-old.
100%.
We were actually thinking of starting the Age of Attraction. I don't know if you watched that series.
Yes.
How interesting it is. There was a woman on there that was, I think she was 57 and dated a guy 27. no, it's 54, 27, yeah. And how they got along, because they were like on the same level.
We're
Yeah.
thinking about doing an event
Something
like
like
that,
that.
where you're not allowed to ask
Yes.
what the
Your
age
age.
Or
is.
something maybe
That'd be
also behind
interesting.
closed doors where you actually get to speak to one
we've got
another
lots
across.
of ideas, just the logistics, but we've got to work
We're
that
working
out.
on it. We're working on it.
And then, what is something you wish men over 50 knew about women your age?
I think, as mentioned previously, that there's this misconception that we have everything. I think that we really need, but we don't. And I think not to be afraid of, a man likes to be able to take control, or most men do. You know, they like to know where they fit and where their place is, whether it's from a financial perspective or emotional. I would say, you know, as I said earlier, not to be afraid and to realize that even a 50-year-old secure lady needs a
wants
loving man.
and a
Or
companion,
yes,
and
that can fit
someone
in.
to do things with and enjoy life with.
But
Yeah.
also maybe something to the ladies listening, maybe don't come across too independent too, like I'm okay by myself, you know.
Where you're like, I don't need
Still
no
be
man,
vulnerable
you know?
and
They don't
be
like that.
be
No,
open
they
to
don't.
it. Yeah.
No, they don't.
What are your biggest green flags that you look for in a partner?
For me, the two kind of go hand in hand. Communication is very important. And then again, having that emotional maturity, which I think is quite a tough topic to talk about. A lot of people are afraid of having those type of conversations. Often when I meet somebody for the first time, obviously, I don't like to boom with questions, but I'll ask in a roundabout way when it comes to conflict as well, you know, trying to have a general conversation and hear how they handle conflict.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that all stems back to communication. I think it's so important. And conflict is normal. It's healthy to have conflict, but it's the way in which you deal with that conflict that's so important. So again, it goes back to, I think communication is very, very important. And it's okay. I think, you know, going back to the question before, I think some men are afraid to show that vulnerability, that vulnerable side. But actually, just as you were saying earlier about a woman not coming across too secure, men can also understand and realize that they don't have to come across also as they have everything worked out.
Yes.
It's actually good to be able to show that softer side, because ladies really like that.
Exactly.
Do you think it gets harder as you get older to put yourself out there, knowing who you are and maybe
Being
becoming
secure in
comfortable?
yourself and knowing what you want. Do you think you accept less bullshit?
I don't find that it's hard to put myself out there. I've learned quite a lot, to be honest. And I think a lot of people don't realize that when you go out or, you know, you take part in, for example, one of your events, it's about meeting new people. I think sometimes we forget that it starts with a friendship as well.
Yeah.
You can learn so much from even somebody that maybe you go on one date with, or 2 dates, or just that interaction. You also learn a lot about yourself and how you interact with, for example, male, female, vice versa. I think it's very important to put yourself out there. That's the only way you're going to learn and, you know, find that special person.
Yeah.
100% agree with you. And I mean, you know, our ladies events, I mean, our events now go up to only 50 for ladies because of this issue of not being able to find men over 50. But if there were more eligible men over 50 that would attend our events, is this somewhere where you'd like to find a partner?
Yes, I think what you're doing is wonderful. You know, I'm always looking at the events that you have coming up, and I'm feeling like, okay, so where does our age group fit?
It's our
challenge,
biggest
yeah,
challenge
yeah.
in this business. Is
And
we
that's
wanna
why we
help
wanted
everybody.
to address it in this podcast.
Yeah. Gents
Men over
listening out
50
there, come
are-
on, these
yeah.
ladies are smart and accomplished and vulnerable, and they're wanting to meet you. So what is exactly stopping you?
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Pleasure. It's been
Yeah.
wonderful to chat to you,
you so
Do you
ladies.
have any questions for us?
I think the only thing is that, as I said earlier, it would be wonderful for you to have more events, and I hope the gents are listening, because it would be wonderful if we could open it up further to
We would love to.
the
Yeah.
50-year-olds.
Yes.
Let's hope.
Thank you so much.